Antonio. First time presenting, so bear with me. So I just moved down here from Illinois and have a business that did decals, did carved signs, did lighted signs, did graphics for race cars. But I've got a new idea for a business, which is chalk drawing. So 6 years ago, I was doing signs and banners for a function that was a chalk festival, and I got into doing the chalk drawings on the ground. And they look like they pop up off the ground, so you can have interactive pictures taken, so like photo ops. So kind of like for special events, you would have a wedding party, or you would have possibly engagement where you propose, or you have like a sporting event. But the chalk festival that I went to had this big go-kart track, and all these different spots had different art projects that you could have in the different areas, and I was a part of helping do that. I was a sponsor and I did all the signage for it. So they asked me if I would do a chalk drawing. So after the years, this is kind of one that wasn't quite finished, but you can tell it looks like Maya the Bee popping up out of the thing, and my daughter inspired me, obviously, because she liked Maya the Bee. And when it was all finished, I even had a hopscotch out in front so people could hopscotch in front of it as an interactive thing. And since then, I started doing them everywhere. This was in my driveway just with my daughter, so we could get our picture taken on a snowman because it was too cold outside to make snowballs. This was one done at the library for like the trunk or treat, and they had it at different functions. So the library had me do one out in front of there, and you get your picture taken along the side of that. This is kind of like, it looks so distorted from one angle, but when you come and walk around to where the vantage point is right in front of it, you can see it's Santa Claus. So I did interactive ones at different festivals. This looks like you're in a hole in the ground and you can stand in a tornado. I started to come up with one where I did a painting on a backdrop with the shark back there, and you can stand in a spot, and then the bottom of the mouth looks like you're standing in the shark, which I will show you later. This is one done in Peoria, Illinois, which they had a chalk festival, and you can stand on top of the hat, so it looks like you're standing on top of Lincoln's head. But it was kind of an advertisement for Lincoln speaking in Toulon, because they were having a Lincoln Days and a parade and everything, so I was kind of promoting that, so it says Lincoln in Toulon. Then I created multiple vantage points. So if you're looking at it upside down, it looks like total nothing, chaos. I come up with where it looks like something from both sides. So it was a My Little Pony that I did in the Quad Cities that looks like that from one angle. From the other angle, it looks like a monster with kind of a horn nose and ears and stuff sticking out. Birthday party, just, threw one down for my daughter because she turned 6, and you could have like a wedding cake with people standing on their wedding cake. You could have lots of different versions. I did a proposal at one of the chalk festivals. Somebody asked me to do one, so I came up with one real quick. It wasn't so three-dimensional because I was kind of getting new at it at the time, but this was an overhead shot of it. So then I created a daisy chain, which is kind of like picture in a picture. So you see those where you take a picture, somebody taking a picture and taking a picture. Well, this is kind of where you take a picture, somebody taking a picture from a certain vantage point, and then you take a picture of them taking a picture from the vantage point. And this is a piranha chewing on chalk, but somebody up there is taking a picture of that shark. Here is a different vantage point where she's looked like she's standing like a cyclone, and she's taking a picture of somebody taking a picture in the shark. And then this is what it looks like when you have a kid standing in the shark's mouth. So the backdrop is done with paint and some chalk, multimedia, and then I just draw the bottom half. This one here was done with just Kingsford charcoal. I just did this a couple weeks ago, just in my driveway, just messing around. But it took me about 20 minutes, just charcoal, nothing else. And then COVID happened. This is kind of not all in order. But back in Illinois, well, actually down here, we were vacationing down here when COVID started, and we got locked into our rental house, and we couldn't go to Disney, we couldn't go to Legoland, so we kind of liked it down here. My wife could ride her horse every day, and I could sit by the pool around the house that we got locked in, so we kind of loved it and decided to move down here. I went back to Illinois just before the COVID in place, shelter in place started. So then, you're teaching your daughter, you're trying to do physical activity with your daughter. So I'm doing a lot of art projects with my daughter. So we even wrote a book and come up with our own characters and stuff. We were putting hearts in the windows. I don't know if you saw that in Facebook, where you put hearts in the windows for, COVID, support the essential workers, because my wife was an essential worker. So I had the daughter all day, and we came up with a character where we traced our foot and hearts in the windows. So the next chalk festival we had, I was the only one that showed up to it. It was kind of like a drive-through chalk festival at this one that I was been a part of forever. But that's kind of my foot-headed father with his head sticking out of a hole in the ground, which is a heart, looking at a cootie bug, which represents COVID, because he's scared of the COVID. Since then, my community had a health department that had a children's section for all kinds of stuff, and I came up with all these different, you can see the little light switch, but these are huge murals that I just painted with acrylic just inside these walls. This here is three-dimensional, so you stand at one vantage point, it looks like that wall's sticking out. This here is one I did on a building in my community that is totally distorted here, but if you stand right at the corner, and this is also the point vision of where it is at the stoplight too. So you look like this, and I call it the social butterfly because of COVID-19. Nobody could socialize. We all have masks on, getting our picture taken next to a butterfly, but the stoplight looks just like that from the same spot. So then I started to incorporate banners into my chalk drawing, because I make banners, and so I made a signboard for an art thing, and then I do a chalk drawing off on the side and show where the entrance is for it. I did a banner that just lays on the ground. It looks like I'm holding the top of the head of the skeleton. A banner that laid at the bank because it was too cold outside and nobody wanted to be outside for the Christmas walk, so people can pose on top of this. So here's kind of a video of Oktoberfest that I did with a bar that has interactive, where people can walk over this banner, and I did all the chalk drawing around it so it looked like it was three-dimensional. This was another idea I had for on a bench, where you can have somebody sit on a bench and it would look like it's three-dimensional. This is one I did for a bar that I later created on a wall mural that looks three-dimensional. And then I went into artworks this is like a tabletop that looks three-dimensional as you walk around, and it's a Belgian lunch, it's called, because Belgian roly-poly was a Belgian game, so it has a roly-poly and a bottle of beer inside of a box. So it's kind of like a lunch box. This is a three-dimensional horse that jumps off of it. If you look at it, it's a rectangle that if you're standing, it's called like a hallway painting. So you look down, and this was all done in Sharpie marker and pencil. It was done for the Lincoln thing. I was on the fire department, and I did kind of a fire department scene. And I think I made it in time.
All right, great job, Kurt. Does anybody have any comments, questions?